Well, it's good afternoon from Mount Barker here in the Adelaide Hills as gather round continues across the AFL, and following what was a pretty impressive win for the Brisbane Lions over North Melbourne, we now have the AFL Academy taking on Port Adelaide, the SANFL side. Some of the best youngsters in the country will be taking the field here against a pretty strong Port Adelaide lineup. It is a bye week in the SANFL, but Port did name 13 AFL listed players, so a very good test for some of the best 17-year-olds in the country here at Mount Barker. My name's Adam Sarikoglu. Hope you enjoyed it. It's rather wet and windy like it was for portions of the AFL game here earlier today. And there are plenty of names that we're going to be looking forward to seeing from this Australia team. And we are set to go here at Mount Barker. Underway in ruck for the power is Hayes, and an early tackle laid by McAuliffe as we now see Harley Reid crashing through, of course, the touted number one draft pick prospect. Now to the Bendigo Pioneers getting an early touch here. It's Australia across half back that are looking just to find a way out as the ball slips through the hands of Lawrence as we go towards half forward now for Australia. Good defending there by Lockie Jones, one of those AFL listed Port players that are out here this afternoon. The ball comes to ground and we have a ball up. As we've already mentioned, Harley Reid, who is a pretty clear favourite right now to go number one in this year's national draft. There'll be some other key names to look out for this afternoon for Australia as we see the ball trickle towards half forward for Port. Sullivan was the one that met it, got his hand pass out. There's a whistle coming back just as Philippides thought he was away. And the free kick is going to go Port Adelaide's way to be taken by Jed Hagan on this near side wing. It's going to be a tough old day here at Mount Barker this afternoon. We go towards 50 once more for Port. The ball is picked up. Georgiades going inside 50, and we're going to get an early shot at goal through Ollie Lord from just about point-blank range. So Mitch Georgiades was an emergency for the AFL game that is coming up later this evening for the Power. That one's coming up in a couple of hours against the Western Bulldogs, of course, at the Adelaide Oval. Right now, all eyes on Ollie Lord, directly in front. Has kicked 2 goals in the SANFL so far, and Port is on the board here at Mount Barker. It's been a tough start to the year for Port in the SANFL. Ollie Lord, as I mentioned, 2 goals in the SANFL so far this year. So there were 4 emergencies that the Power named for the AFL side. Tom Cleary, Mitch Georgiades, who is out here, Riley Bonner, Jackson Mead. They're not part of that 13 that I mentioned from the AFL list that are represented by Port Adelaide here today. It's a really strong side that this AFL Academy will be facing up against. We're back in the middle. Here's Harley Reid again, already having a presence in this game. Kick goes towards half forward. Can Australia go into attack for the first time? Nick Watson in 2 minds, tucked up against the boundary. It's a high ball that'll land at about 50. A couple of Port players were there to raffle it, and it was Hugh Jackson winning it back. Short left foot up. Harley Reid was waiting out the back after the fumble. Port will emerge though. Hand pass came towards Cheeseman, and now Jones. Wiedemann. Pressure coming. He had given up his prior opportunity. Good tackle there by Daniel Curtin. He was out of WA in Claremont, missed the championships last year through injury. He is one to watch here this afternoon, Daniel Curtin, as we go towards half forward for Australia. Through the hands of Caddy. And a fist on the ball again there by Curtin as Port will emerge with the ball. It's been a good start for Port Adelaide. Evans going short. And again, we're going to see another shot at goal as the sun just sneaks out here. Ollie Lord from much further out can try and get Port Adelaide seconds here. So we've already seen Harley Reid get involved on a number of occasions. His class already shining through. But it has been a good start for Port Adelaide. Ollie Lord. It was raining at the start of this game. It's cleared up a little bit now. The kick is good. Really good start for Port Adelaide here against Australia, represented by the AFL Academy. This being the showpiece event for the camp that's currently taking place for these AFL Academy boys. Second one of the year. Being headed up by Tarkin Lockyer, who's had plenty of coaching experience among various ranks. So Port Adelaide have started this one well. A couple of early goals for Ollie Lord. And an early 12-point lead. Ball. There's a free kick. It's going to go Australia's way. They haven't been inside 50 yet. Reid will take it. 3 reads in this Australian side. Harley is the one that goes inside 50. Tried to crash the pack there, did Jed Walter. He's a Gold Coast Suns Academy prospect. Around the corner we go. It's a high one, but marking the goal line, and happy to see it go through is Tom Cleary. That's Australia's first score of the afternoon. Cleary wanted to quickly kick in. It was a dangerous decision holding the man though. Nick Watson just had a fistful of jumper. And Port Adelaide will, well, I was going to say, will rebound 50, but Jackson ran himself into trouble, neutralised the footy. And the umpire will now cross his arms. As the ball goes aerial here. Good luck marking that one. It just bounced in front of Philatides. Good tackle laid by Cleary. Philatides again does pick up. Sends it to the goal square. It was a good kick. It was in the perfect position for Nate Caddy to take the mark, and he should get Australia's first major on the board here. Out of Yarrambat and the Northern Knights. He's the nephew of Richmond's Josh Caddy, and indeed he does kick the goal. So a good game of footy here, early stages at Mount Barker. All a part of gather round. Port Adelaide getting the first 2 goals of the game through Ollie Lord. Now Nate Caddy has Australia's first on the board. There's a good flow to this game in these early stages. It was a really impressive mark by Nate Caddy. And a good kick as well from Philatides as we're back in the middle again. Australia get another clearance. It's a low ball inside 50. And you can see Jace Burgoyne trying to extract it. It's coming back his way now. It does go to ground. No room to work with really from McCall if it was socketed forward by Callanan. Port Adelaide have some numbers back. It's a high ball that will still land at about 50. So Australia is still in range here. Over the top of the ball is Cleary, but he turns it over. And then another turnover committed by Georgiades. I feel like Tedi's again has been involved on quite a few occasions, but the ball ricochets out of bounds. A lot of work has gone into preparing this Mount Barker football grounds here in the Adelaide Hills. It does look Absolutely picture perfect. And we did see earlier on Brisbane get a very comfortable win over North Melbourne. It's just pinballing around here. Burgoyne goes in, but he got worried out of it immediately. Port able to get some more numbers around the contest and will eventually extract it. Kick goes down the line, but there wasn't all that much that Mitch Georgiades could do. It took a bounce and went out of play in front of our main broadcast area here at Mount Barker. So Port Adelaide by 5 points. Boundary throw in. Cleary sends it towards half forward for Australia. They've settled into this game now after giving away a couple of early goals. Simpson got some body on body. Ball ended up in the hands of Sanders. Had to really work his way through some traffic. Now Darcy Wilson gets onto the right boot. But it goes well over the head of Caddy. And Port Adelaide can rebound again, although that's not a great kick, and they're kicking inside D50. Has not been great so far. Hayes found himself under a fair bit of pressure. Ball's popped up in the air. As soon as Wilson grabbed it, he was claimed. You saw Will Franku there laying a tackle for Port Adelaide as well. He gets it now, Franku. Kick toward our broadcast side of the ground again. It's trickling toward the boundary line, and happy to see it go out. Here's Jed Hagan. Rucking duties for Australia at the moment, Will Green, another Northern Knights product, alongside Nate Caddy, the only goal kicker for Australia so far. Good test for him in ruck. Hayes has been doing a fair bit of it for Port Adelaide, so gets to go up against an AFL listed ruckman. There's Will Green, as we see the ball just bounce away from Tom Scully. So more than half of this Port Adelaide lineup is AFL listed today. Caden Cleary's been impressive. Number 3 for Australia. Sydney Uni and Swans Academy product as the ball comes back into play here. I think both rucks were out of position. Australia need to put the clamps on here. Wayward handball. They will be able to emerge. Wilson just dumps it back out of D50. Piscini, little chipping ball, is good for Josh Sin. And Port Adelaide just slow things down as Sin goes back inside defensive 50. Cleary for Burgoyne. Famous name, of course, for the Port Adelaide Football Club. And they're happy to chip around half back at the moment here. McCallum's kick out wide. It's not really going to get anywhere near Hagan. And it goes out. The kicking leaving a little bit to be desired from a Port Adelaide perspective so far here. Holding on to a 5-point lead halfway through this first quarter. Mount Barker. The throw-in does favour Vicentini. Here's Burgoyne at the back of the contest. Right football towards half forward. Was looking for Scully. Franku looking to get a little socket towards Scully. I think that actually worked out for Will Franku in the end. Ball comes to ground. A number of Australian players surrounding, and we will have the stoppage. Will Green continues in ruck for Australia. Tried to tap that one down toward Riley Sanders. Hand pass out toward Philatides has been impressive so far this afternoon. Still the ball on ground level. It's hard to extract. It does actually pop out. Lucky K-ball will be driven into the turf. Another Sydney Academy player out of Shell Harbour. High contact, and it's going to be a free kick for Australia. Will Green to take it. Thought about quickly getting on the handball towards Sanders. We go down the line, diving effort. Tough on the mark there for a name that a lot of Port fans are going to be familiar with. It was Zane Dersma, number 19 for Australia. Yes, that is Xavier's brother. Free kick here for Port Adelaide. Another kick here for Burgoyne. It's been distributing a bit for Port so far this afternoon. Georgiades ran past it. Ball's on ground level. And the umpire does call for another ball up. Hugh Ferrari giving it back to the umpire. Cleary brought out, holding the ball. Good tackling pressure. Free kick will be taken by Vicentini for Port Adelaide. Looks for the leads. There was one on offer, but the kick went over Georgiades' head. Ball extracted out the back here. Philoctetes again. He's had a fair bit of it. Strong tackle laid by Josh Sin, making sure that Darcy Wilson was going nowhere. Approaching the 15-minute mark here. That Mal Barker, boundary throw in again. Tried to get a big slap there on the ball, did Vicentini. Ended up with Franku. He goes to the top of the goal square. Was there a free kick given away? Might be advantage anyway. It is. The goal is kicked by Ollie Lord. He has 3 in the first quarter. Free kick, I think, might have been given away by George Stevens there. And Ollie Lord has 3 for 3 to extend Port Adelaide's lead out to 11 points here. Watching parts of the AFL game earlier here today, right of screen, as you're watching us on afl.com.au. Did seem to be where the wind was blowing. And it has been a good start for Port Adelaide here. Vicentini into the ruck now. For Port Adelaide. And for Australia, it's Mitch Edwards. Ground level ball. Umpire sees another free kick, a legging infringement. And it's going to be taken Simpson towards half forward. Harley Reid in the vicinity here. It was regained for Port Adelaide by McCallum. Trickling ball on the wing. And Port will go into attack once more. Goes through the hands of Scully. Australia had a man or two back there, but Evans was the man that ended up with it. There was a whistle. He did fire the shot away. Does look like it's going to be an Australian free kick. It will be taken by Riley Hardiman, WA product out of Swan Districts. Kick intended for Jack DeLeon. Had to take some late body on body. It falls out the back and out of play here near the Port Adelaide bench. You can probably see a couple of those trees in the background. They're still quite blustery here. That Mal Barker. It's got a great community feel here. It's been a wonderful success. Has gather round. Harley Reid, another disposal for him. Kick goes toward the wing. Working hard on all fours there was Tholstrup, another WA product, who we did see represent WA in the championships last year. Here's a Subiaco product. We've got a ball up on the wing. Mitch Edwards still in ruck for Australia. Ground level, Harley Reid. He's perhaps looking for holding the ball, but the umpire calls for a ball up. Still on the wing here, ball just slipped through the legs of Dersma. Has to apply some pressure now. Zane Dersma. Montgomery had the ball for Port Adelaide. There's a lot of bodies around the ball at the moment. It's hard to get out. Ball thrown up once more. High contact, and there will be a free kick going Harley Reid's way. Captain of the Bendigo Pioneers, Tongala product. Such an impressive talent. High ball Lands around 50. Montgomery again for Port Adelaide. Got his hand pass out. Cheeseman. I will work it out. Will the Port Adelaide Football Club? We go wide. Scully on all fours, taking a nice mark. And now Evans, little right foot chipper into the pocket, but it's going to bounce away from the man who's kicked all of Port Adelaide's scores so far, Ollie Lord. 3 straight for Port, 3 straight off the boot with Ollie Lord here. Nate Caddy, the goal kicker for Australia. Edwards in ruck against Sam Hayes. Does stay in play here for Port. Reid got some body-on-body balls picked up by Watson. And the ball is going to go out of play. Nick Watson, they call him the Wizard. East Ringwood and Eastern Rangers in Victoria. Good representation from all over the country in this Australian Academy side. Ball is thrown in once more. Vicentini back in ruck for Port Adelaide. DeLeon dropping it, but gets it back now. Sends it to the wing. Had to do some defending there to Caddy. Burgoyne. Wanted to quickly get the hand pass out. Montgomery. That is a mark that's paid. Green breathing down on him. Burgoyne once more. Case Burgoyne averaging 20 touches in the SANFL so far this year. Wilson. Got his hand pass out. It's a high ball. Back out toward the wing. Redwell from the contest. Simpson dumps it inside 50 for Australia. Tracking back is Lee for Port Adelaide. Montgomery has a little bit of time and space. Low left foot data toward the wing. Barkler got it moving and found Francis Evans from centre wing. Nice build up here by Port Adelaide. Georgiades missed the handball. Harley Reid's there again for Australia. Hardiman now. Gave it to Stevens. Low kick down the line. There's a push in the marking contest. A free kick for Australia on that outer side. Toward the middle of the ground we go. Ferrari. Port going inside 50 again, and it's a nice ball. Francis Evans again. Averaging 13 and a half disposals and 6 tackles in the SANFL so far this year. He's kicked 1 goal, 3 in Port's first 2 outings. You can extend the lead out to 17 points here as we approach quarter time. Right football is missing. First blemish of the afternoon for Port. And they lead by 2 goals here at Mount Barker. So Patton taking the mark in the pocket. Reid did well to reel that in. It's been everywhere in this first quarter. Harley Reid, low kick down the line. Did find its way through to Cleary. And he drew the high contact. It'll be his free kick. He's been good in his stoppage work in this first quarter. Here's Caden Cleary. Now the Swans Academy, high ball. Mark was just plain dropped there by Georgiades. Strong tackle to force the turnover. Cleary, the beneficiary of that. Short 45 kick was okay. Sanders, can he find the target in scoring range? Riley Sanders. Tasmanian, but playing in the Coates Talent League in Victoria for the Sandringham Dragons. It will spill out of play and we'll see a boundary throw in. They are inside 50 here. Australia down by 2 goals. They might have some wind advantage at their backs in the second quarter. Ball's tracking boundary side again. Wilson was able to get it in time. Tried to feed it in toward Harley Reid, but he got pounced on pretty quickly. We go again with another boundary throw in here. Good game of footy here so far. Plenty of talent on display. Best 17-year-olds in the country against Port Adelaide's SANFL team. Callanan has scored it out of play by Jackson Lee. His first appearance for Port this year. There are a couple of new faces in this Port Adelaide lineup as well who have not featured in the SANFL yet this year. Roberts was involved there for Australia, as was Moore. Attacked inside 50 again. Fist on the ball by Burgoyne. It pops up in the air. Caddy's got some work to do here. The help eventually arrived for Port. Ball ended up with Green. Perhaps didn't know he was about to be tackled as he tried to get the kick away. And as the ball goes height towards the boundary line, that is the quarter time siren here at Mount Barker. A good opening quarter for Port Adelaide. Australia did settle after giving away 2 early goals, and we have a 12-point ball game at quarter time. Port Adelaide 3-1-19, Australia 1-1-7. 3 goals for Ollie Lord for Port. Nate Caddy, the lone goal kicker for Australia. We'll take a break here from Mount Barker. Second quarter is coming up shortly. all set to go here for quarter number 2. Australia taking on Port Adelaide at Mount Barker. My name's Adam Sarri-Coglu. It was a good first quarter. Strap yourself in. We've got plenty of good footy coming up here. As we saw plenty from both sides in quarter number 1. DeLeon gets brought to ground. And it will be a free kick for Port. And they started the first quarter well. Wiedemann is going to claim it and send Port inside 50. Straight to the goal square he goes. And reading it in flight beautifully. We're going to see another early shot on goal here in quarter number 2. Good mark taken by Mitch Georgiades. He was an emergency for tonight's game against the Western Bulldogs. Directly in front. It was Ollie Lord kicking all of Port Adelaide's goals in the first quarter. Georgiades has been presenting at both ends so far today. So it's a lead of 12 points before this kick. It is extended but only by 1. A miss for Georgiades. So the first quarter, from an individual perspective, absolutely dominated by Harley Reid. He was outstanding. Big fly for the ball there by Sin. Couldn't take it. Simpson got his clearance back out towards the wing. Port had some numbers there. That's a very good mark by Georgiades. Pulled it in nicely. Not a hell of a lot O'Sullivan could do about it. Much tougher kick, this one, for Mitch Georgiades. And you can see what the breeze is doing with those flags at the top of the stands. Those flags seem to be indicating that the left goalpost would be Georgiades' best bet here. Did seem to go that way, but probably a bit too far. Hooked it into the behind post. One behind, one on the full for Mitch Georgiades early in this second quarter. So Australia get it back. And it's a high kick coming late to the contest. O'Sullivan. And the ball overrun by Cooper Simpson. He was good in the first quarter for Australia. Port get the ball back, although the hand pass intercepted by Zane Dersma. Playing against his brother's club here today. Boundary throw in. Gippsland Power and Foster. Where Zane Dersma comes from. We're on dead centre wing here. Ethan Reid did well in ruck for Australia. Inside 50 we go, but it's read well by Ollie Lord, who can line up for his 4th. Kicked one from this sort of range in the first quarter, but that perhaps was with a little bit of breeze assisting it. This is going to be a more tricky shot. Kicks on the way now, and that looks pretty good. Ollie Lord has all 4 of Port Adelaide's goals here at Mount Barker. And it's a nice, handy lead they now have over Australia, represented by the AFL Academy. Yet to make his AFL debut is Ollie Lord. He's already doubled his output on the entire season right here today. Has got 4. The way he's looked here, maybe he's not too far away from his first AFL call-up. Ground level ball here. Pops up in the air for Wiedemann. Had to try and shake the tackle of Simpson. Burgoyne was providing some support. Will Franku. Ball stayed in the air a while. Evans at ground level had to lay the tackle. Loose ball picked up. I think that was DeLeon with the switching pass for Wilson. Murray Bushranger. Here's Darcy Wilson on the wing. Harley Reid. First real involvement of the second quarter. Held on to it for a while. McKercher provided the handball option for the number 1 draft pick favourite. Inside 50, it fell to Callan. It's along the ground. It could be finished off the ground. It is. Jed Walter kicks the goal for Australia. They get the instant reply. There's a big, imposing presence inside forward 50. Is the Gold Coast Suns Academy product. Locally out of Palm Beach, Currumbin, Jed Walter. We saw him in the championships last year for the Allies. And he was able to finish it. To bring it back to 13 points here. At Mount Barker. Gloomy skies over the Adelaide Hills, but not since the early stages of the first quarter have we seen any rain. Let's hope that can stay away, because we have got a good standard of footy here. Back in the middle. Ball's ended up with Jake Rogers. Gets a kick towards half forward. Bounce off the shins of Turner. Pretty good tackle laid there by Jackson Lee. One of those Port players who have not yet featured in the SANFL this year. Ball thrown up. Sam Hayes getting his own clearance. And it's a high one towards half forward. Working hard, O'Sullivan. And he drew some high contact across half back. Connor O'Sullivan has an option out wide. Loose ball on the wing. Hardiman eventually picks up, throws it onto the left. Port Adelaide ball once more. There's Will Ferrari, 2 Ferrari boys out here today, Hugh and Will for Port Adelaide. This is Will Franku. Had to get the hand pass going because the tackling pressure was coming. K-ball came in for Australia. Montgomery, did the ball slip out of play? Boundary umpire says yes. 25-minute quarters here this afternoon at Mount Barker. Port led by 12 points at quarter time. We've seen a goal apiece here in the second. Ollie Lord, all 4 goals for Port. Mitch Edwards back in ruck now for Australia. Up against Sam Hayes. Kick towards the wing. No mark could be taken. It's on ground level. Simpson tried to impose himself. Franku's been good for Port. Good tackle though by Jake Rogers. It's an Australian ball in the middle of the ground here. Rogers. Nice kick. Tholstrup keeps it going toward the pocket, and a good mark. Harley Reid has been ultra impressive already in this game. Can think about kicking Australia's third. Wants to go left foot around the corner. He does. And he converts. He has been a star already. Has Harley Reid. That's 2 goals in a row for Australia. Brings the margin down to 7 points. Still have this swirling breeze here in the Adelaide Hills. Did at one stage seem to be favouring the right of screen ends of the grounds, but might be more of a cross breeze. Great finish, great mark as well by Harley Reid, who was resting forward. Gets Australia back within single digits. We'll have a recalled bounce here. Ethan Reid now in ruck for Australia. Gold Coast Suns Academy products. Handball for Darcy Wilson. Has to run away from the danger. Had no kicking targets to go to. Went by hand to McKercher. He got brought out. Good tackling pressure being applied by Charlie MacArthur. We'll have a ball up. Left half forward for Port Adelaide. Sam Hayes still in ruck here. Had front position, tried to grab it himself again. I think he got done for holding the ball there. So a free kick for Ethan Reid. 3 Reids in the Australian lineup this afternoon. No relation for any of them. McCallum, Burgoyne. Had plenty of it in the first quarter, did Jace Burgoyne. Kick goes inside 50. Forced to do some defending was Scully. Here is Scully again, got his hand pass out, running into trouble was Barkler. Hagan. Little ball around the corner. Cheeseman couldn't take it. And making sure that he was going to go out of play was Ethan Reid. He'll go back and contest the ruck here. 7-point ball game, Port Adelaide's way. They have led from the start here. Ollie Law doing the ruck against Reid. Strong tackle by Cleary. Locked his game so far. A lot of academy, AFL Club Academy boys out here in this Australian Academy side. There's a free kick after the ruck contest, and going back to take it's Ethan Reid. And he is one of them for the Gold Coast Suns. McKercher. Will Lawrence. Merging with the ball was McKercher, but it's coming back. William Lawrence, locally Charger, the grandson of Graham Arthur, Hawthorn's first premiership captain back in 1961. Connor O'Sullivan assessing his options. Low ball resulting in a turnover. Ferrari, though, couldn't get it. Another tackle by Caden Cleary. Working hard is Cleary. He might actually extract it himself. He does. Nice hard ball get for Cleary. But there's just too many bodies around this ball. Cleary goes in again. Fed the hand pass out. He might have to go one more time. He does. He gets it again, Cleary. Over the top of the ball. Ball did spill out. Port will finally get it inside 50. But it's well read in flight by Will Patton. So they can settle down again now, Australia. Tholstrup getting the hand pass out. One of a handful of WA products in this side today is Colton Tholstrup. Port get the ball back, though. Oliver Cheeseman. Low ball along the ground. Picked up nicely by Hagan. Got his hand pass out. Chipping ball toward the pocket. Front position. Patton couldn't mark it. Gets it now, Patton, after the initial fumble. Did well to recover and give it to Lawrence, and Australia are out of danger. Hand pass comes to Burgoyne. Piscini. Good fist on the ball to kill it off there. Patton's had a good couple of minutes. Hardiman now. Left foot ball towards half forward for Reid. Takes a good mark. Harley Reid gets up and goes. Too far out to score here. It's a high ball that's going to land in the pocket. Out the back after Jones contested the ball, went back to get it. He gets wrapped up immediately by Dersma. In scoring range here for Australia. Can they get 3 in a row? The goal brings it back to within a point. And it's in a dangerous spot as Harley Reid goes to ground in the Lockie Jones tackle. We've passed the halfway mark of this second quarter. Ball thrown up. And the tap went straight down to Ashton Moore. That was very dangerous indeed. But he couldn't get his kick away. We're a bit closer to goal for Australia. We've got another stoppage. So we go one more time here. Maybe they did think about punching it through. Callanan was near it, but not near enough. So we get a boundary throw in now next to the behind post. Port Adelaide by 7 points here at Mount Barker. AFL side will take on the Western Bulldogs tonight at Adelaide Oval. We are looking forward to that game. After that stunning victory against the Swans last week. Ball thrown up again. Harley Reid, was he trying to draw the high contact? It didn't matter, got his hand pass out. Wilson can get a look at the sticks here. Right foot ball is on the way. He might have been off balance, and the kick in turn was pushed wide. And Tom Cleary's going to get it back here for Port Adelaide, one of those emergencies for tonight's game. Sin. Low ball, difficult one for Green to mark. It's forced forward by George Stevens. And Sin sees it go out of play. Josh Sin averaging 17 touches in the SANFL so far this year. Hugh Jackson claimed as soon as he got it. Cheeseman similarly. Franku, a handball towards the boundary line. No room to work with here, but they do gain some territory, at least momentarily. It's gone out on the full. Right on the interchange gates here. Will Patton gets it back for Australia. Local boy out of West Adelaide. Patton. Kick will land at about 50. Walter affected the contest, but it's Harley Reid again. The turn and go. The kick wasn't bad inside 50 either. And then it's sharked by Cleary. Gets a quick one away. Minor score for the Aussies. One straight kick in it now. Caden Cleary has been extremely good in this game alongside Harley Reid so far for Australia. Burgoyne. The kick toward the outer wing. Hayes affecting the contest. This is Barkler. Port Adelaide go inside 50 for the first time in a while. No mark was taken by Scully, but he does pick it up and get a quick snap. Port did go coast to coast, but only amounts for 1 point. Will Patton happy to go short with the kick in. Riley Hardiman out of Swan Districts in WA. Easy free kick there for the umpire to call against Bryn Teakle. Will Green going short. Cleary out wide. Jack to Leon. Nice ball as well. Good little passage here for Australia. Ashton Moore, another local product out of Glenelg. Decided to maybe go all the way. Punched through by Tom McCallum. Good even contest here at Mount Barker. The best 17-year-olds draft eligible for this year's national draft in the country. Taking on a pretty strong Port Adelaide side here with more than a dozen AFL listed players. Here's one of them, Francis Evans. Australia get the ball back, Edwards. McAuliffe. Left foot ball was neat for Moore. Another good build-up here. Cooper Simpson goes high, ball punched toward the line. And Zalian is not going to be able to get it in time. Ball comes to ground. Port had some numbers. Cleary one of them. Wiedemann kept it in play. Ball is socked toward the wing. Some numbers for Australia. O'Sullivan gets the 1-2. Just threw it onto the boot. Port couldn't get the mark through. Scully. Cleary has to do some defending here. It's trickling. Another minor score. It's been a very good second quarter here for Australia. Franku worried out of it by Tholstrup. Montgomery now. And the stoppage is called for. Five-point ball game. Halftime siren not too far away. Big jump at the ball, but no mark taken. As Port Adelaide are able to repel. Wiedemann got a little fist in there nicely as well. They made use of the extra man to get it to centre wing. Georgiades missed a couple of shots at the start of the second quarter. Loose man at half forward. And that's Jackson. High left footer. And it falls in the right spot. Another chance for Port to extend their lead out beyond a goal again. Sam Hayes resting up forward. Looking to become the first Port Adelaide player not named Ollie Lord to kick a goal here at Mount Barker this afternoon. You can see Ollie Lord in the foreground just coming back out onto the ground. Sam Hayes misses. They're wasting opportunities at both ends at the moment. And Port in particular, a couple of set shots that have gone astray in this second quarter. It's a one-goal ball game. Big fly, but not bringing the ball down to Leon. Didn't really get near it in the end, but it was a decent jump. Caught in the double tackle was Jake Rogers. Harley Reid back in the midfield. Kicked a goal while resting up forward earlier in this second quarter. Port Adelaide ball. Barkla had plenty of pressure in his face. And he gets a free kick. Nathan Barkla. Short one. Really set Lockie Jones a task. Turnover Watson. Deleen. Perhaps caught off guard there. Burgoyne on clean-up duty for Port. Lee. Bouncing ball out wide for Harper Montgomery. The pressure will come from Orlando Turner, and Turner's done very well here. Still Orlando Turner. He needs some help of his own. That was provided by Moore. He ran into the Bryn Teakle tackle. Some good pressure all around there. Ashton Moore was working hard for Australia as well. Tap down was won by Dante Vicentini. Turner had to get boots of ball, was able to do so. It trickles out once more. 25-minute flat quarters, you can see on the bottom left of your screen on this AFL.com.au live stream. But we are approaching the halftime siren. 6-point ball game. Ball punched toward the line by Ethan Reid. Probably gains about 10 or 15 metres with that. So Port led by 12 points at quarter time. Currently by 6. All 4 of their goals belong to Ollie Lord. Vicentini in ruck against Reid, but a wayward boundary throw in. Australian ball here. McKercher might have been touched off the boot. Harley Reid, how was that? Got away from the tackle and sent the ball inside 50. Piscini did well to keep it in front. And Port again defending pretty well. It's in the hands of Dante Vicentini. The kick down the line intended for MacArthur, but he got outsized, and then more bodies arrived after that. George Stevens will be the man that goes to ground and has to give it back to the umpire. Inside the final minute of quarter number 2. An arm wrestle at Mount Barker. Port Adelaide SANFL team against the Australian AFL Academy team. And there was a free kick paid, but that is the halftime siren. And we have a very good game of footy here between Australia and Port Adelaide. It's Port 4-4-28 leading Australia 3-4-22. All 4 goals for Port belong to Ollie Lord, and for Australia, Harley Reid, who has been outstanding, Nate Caddy and Jed Walter are the goal kickers. So we'll take a break here from Mount Barker in the Adelaide Hills. Port Adelaide leading by a goal over Australia. Hope you've enjoyed it so far on afl.com.au. We'll be back in 10 to 15 minutes from now with quarter number 3.
How you going, mate? Who you looking for?
As long as I get across that.
Yeah, I don't mind it. park the cars in the same spot. Marie's already gone.
Yeah, she left at 5.
Well, let me know when you go.
She's there out in the field with her.
Oh, she's out in the field. All right.
She's out in the field with her. There's only one guy here.
Then they come out from half time with me.
Once they come out and go on the field, we're off. Well, because there's not enough parking in, so leave your car there, so we did. When we get here, there's no car place.
I strip on the Are you on the outside of the BJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll meet you on the back.
Yeah.
All right, mate. We're on the laptop. It'd be probably worse than flying fly out sometimes.
Parks and stuff.
Oh, Saturday night. And the other one. No, he's offside. Hey, from Melbourne. Captain's assistant coach. It's
No, mate, this truck's got on the live golf tomorrow. The other truck's at Norwood tomorrow. 2 trucks are already up there. Endless. It would be endless. Yeah. No, that's ours. I'll get rid of the wiring at home. Yeah. Next question. You should see how much I charge. Cool. That's my man. $8 worth of rubber, that is. That's all I said.
The win ratio is 43%. Gigs.
Taxi. Just in case. Alright, Maury. I was doing my job until I saw you.
What are you doing now?
Same as all day.
A lot.
They really needed me today.
How many steps you done? 2,000. So you went to the shop and back?
How many you done?
You only got a hot dog. You come
No,
back.
it was just a walk in. No, Peter brought me a different time to pick me up. I think that bed's cool. Coming up. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Now, David is originally David's taken my dad. Well, yeah, that's interesting because David dropped some good food, brother. Because I got some sense of old Region Valley football. The photo of David in the back of the group, the grand final, he was on the but he's in Sydney. I asked a few people who knew why he didn't play. Apparently because he was in the state of the which is a bit sad.
Stanley. I think I was recording that camera.
All on the outer side here. And the tackle is laid by Dante Vicentini. Apologies if we've had any technical issues with the commentary. I believe we are back now live here on afl.com.au. Through the middle we go for Port Adelaide. First inside 50 of the second half, and Georgiades presenting on the lead. Missed a couple of shots in the second quarter. Doesn't want to shoot from here. Decides to short the ball, and the shot will come from Nathan Barkler instead. So as was mentioned on a couple of occasions in the first half, all 4 goals for Port Adelaide so far today belong to Ollie Lord. And they have missed their fair share of opportunities as well. Right now, all eyes on Nathan Barkler. The kick looks pretty good. It is. Early goal in the third quarter for Port Adelaide. Their margin, their lead is now 11 points. Category B rookie in the 2022 rookie draft. Woodville West Torrens product. Impressed in the SANFL side for Port Adelaide last year. Now finds his way onto the AFL list. We're back in the middle. Hayes in ruck for Port Adelaide. The ball was picked up by McKercher. He was okay for Australia throughout the first half. Kick goes towards half forward. Ball just bounced over the top of Moore. Wiedemann, low kick. Ball back in the hands of Philatides. Short ball for Darcy Wilson. Quickly gave it to Patton. He had to take some pretty heavy body-on-body contact there from Jake Wiedemann. And the ball did spill out of play as a result. My apologies, it's a ball up. Didn't think it went out of play there. Touched off the boot there for Hugh Jackson. Falstrip giving the ball to McAuliffe. And here's Harley Reid, ultra impressive in the first half, including a goal. Umpire blows time off as Harley Reid had a bit of trouble getting back up. And he'll take his ball here just inside the centre square. Has a switch option available, but wants to go boundary side instead. George Stevens with the ball now. GWV Rebels and South Warrnambool is where he comes from. Nick Watson, the wizard, out wide for Caden Cleary. Also very good throughout the first half. His kick down the line. Tough one for Orlando Turner. Just forward of the wing here, boundary throw in. Mitch Edwards up against Hayes. It was well read by Cheeseman, resulting in the clearance for Port Adelaide. We go inside 50, Georgiades. Ball punched away from him by Stevens. Port's been leading for the entire game so far. It's a right foot snapper goal, and they will extend it now. Couple of goals for Port Adelaide to start this third quarter. The margin is back out to 17 points. Francis Evans confirmed as the goal kicker for Port Adelaide as we go towards half forward once more. Philatides just got his hand pass out in time. McKercher in a similar situation, back to Philatides. Burgoyne getting a fist on the ball as it comes to Tholstrup. Almost took on the tackler there in Jackson. Free kick given away by Ethan Reid. Into the middle of the ground we go. Cleary in the vicinity as well as Harley Reid, two of the standout performers for Australia this afternoon. But a free kick to Port. Evans the goal scorer. Now Georgiades taking the mark and will get the 50-metre penalty. Went down pretty late after taking it. The 50-metre penalty was given away by Harley Reid. Port Adelaide will get 2 goals in a minute here and extend this lead out to a game-high 23 points. And Mitch Georgiades finally has a goal to his name this afternoon. Has missed a few opportunities. He wasn't going to miss that one. They've now doubled Australia on the scoreboard, have Port Adelaide. It's a decent lineup that Tyson Goldsack has brought to Mount Barker here today. There were 13 AFL listed players initially named, but a couple of the AFL emergencies have since come into the side as well, including Tom Cleary, Mitch Georgiades, just to further bolster this Port Adelaide lineup. Bounce down back in the middle. Hayes, again extracting it himself and forcing another one deep inside 50. Australia have to defend once more. There's been a presence throughout this third quarter. Here's Stevens. Cabor. Tholstrup. Back to Hayes. There was no one back there for Port. Ball was overrun by Hardiman. Desperate defending here from Australia again. George Stevens. Kick went towards Sanders. Gets it now. Got it back from Cabor, although that handball was in toward the pressure yet again. Sanders once more. He got brought down. It resulted in a turnover. Evans kicks on the way and missing. Starting to get well on top at the moment is Port Adelaide. Lead it by 4 goals now. Ball stayed in play for Tholstrup. On the wing. Affecting the contest was Teakle. Rogers. Nice ball. Jack Callanan. Out of the Tassie Devils. This is a 50-metre penalty. We've got one at both ends. It should result in another point-blank range goal. This time it's going Australia's way. And the young Tasmanian out of Clarence should bring this back to 18 points at Mount Barker. Jack Callanan kicks the goal for Australia. Of course, plays for the Tassie Devils. Mentioned the SANFL in the first half. Having a week off, obviously, during this gather round. Port Adelaide have played 2 games in the SANFL so far. Went down to Adelaide by 78 points in round 1. And then going down by 17 against Glenelg last week, the Port Adelaide SANFL side. It resumes next weekend, does the SANFL. A trip to Sturt for Port at Wigan Oval on Sunday. So it has been a tricky start to the year, but they've been good here today. Free kick advantage paid, high ball. Australia gets it back. Hardiman kick toward the space on the wing. Wilson does well to pick it up. Showed some wheels as he got his handball off to Simpson. Short ball inside 50. Wasn't initially marked by Lawrence, but he did try to affect it. Tackle was missed there by Moore. Put Adelaide in under pressure here. The kick does go 15. They are eventually out of danger. Low ball toward the wing. Lord, 4 goals to his name. But he coughed it up to his fellow number 30, Mitch Edwards. Now Riley Sanders. Half-forward ball here. Reed in the marking contest. There was a hold. Gave away the free kick. Nope, got the free kick. Wants to give off the quick handball. Left foot ball is on the way, but it was skewed. Moving away from Ashton Moore, so we've got a boundary throw in. Halfway through this third quarter, that Mount Barker boundary throw in. Back into the ruck for Port is Vicentini. Ball goes high, coming late to try and mark it was Dersma. Maybe his brother, in case you are wondering, any Port fans that are watching us on afl.com.au. Hagen. Right foot ball. Someone won there for the Aussies, but Port Adelaide are going to win out here. An awkward bounce as it does trickle toward the pocket now. Ball's ended up with Lee. Chipping ball, tried to pick out Ferrari. Some sloppy stuff here at the moment as the ball bounces past Sanders. He's got a couple of Port players around him, Tom Scully being one of them. Now Scully, great handball to find Frank, who has to get around one. Just got his kick out in time. Rogers on clean-up duty for Australia. Toward the wing, one-on-one. Burgoyne from behind did well up against Will Lawrence. It goes out of play. Some good moments for Jace Burgoyne throughout this game so far. Cross half back, playing his role for Port Adelaide today. Averaging 20 touches in the SANFL so far this year. Boundary throw in. Front position in the ruck, Vicentini. Later tackle on Rogers as the ball pops up in the air. Riley Sanders has had a busy couple of minutes. Bit of Jason Horne-Francis about to look in, perhaps with the socks up as well. Perhaps that's why he does remind of the young Port Adelaide star. Has had a great start to his power career. Jackson Lee. Chipping ball over the top. Tom McCallum. Option in board. Just gets the 15 for Cleary. Tom Cleary being solid down back, and a lead was presented by Georgiades. Has had plenty of looks at goal this afternoon. Wants to squabble about where exactly the mark should be, and he will line up on the 45. George Stevens not happy about something, perhaps just disappointed that he was beaten by Mitch Georgiades. Kicked a goal earlier in this third quarter. Kicks a goal here, the margin would be a game high. 24 points. Rain still holding off here in the Adelaide Hills, which is good to see. Did rain briefly at the start of today's game. The curtain closer. So what was a pretty big win for Brisbane over North Melbourne. Georgiades missing again. Nathan Philatides will bring the ball in for Australia. Harley Reid picked up well off the deck. Stevens, Reid, met very solidly by Scully. Namesake of a former #1 draft pick, Tom Scully, of course. Harley Reid, highly touted to be the man with that honour later this year. Ball to be thrown in. 7-8 playing, sorry, 7-6 playing 4-5. Ball going to be marked in the goal square. Hagan, or near the goal square. Evans working hard. And it will be a ball up that's called for. Cleary, the tackler for Australia. Locked his game in and under today. Caden Cleary. Grabbing out of ruck was Hayes, but just got his angle horribly wrong with the kick. He kicked it backward over his shoulder. And it even went on the full. That couldn't have gone any worse for Sam Hayes. Callanan getting it back for Australia. Here is Harley Reid. Out of the Bendigo Pioneers. A little don't argue for the man on the mark there. He made it awfully hard for himself and got the free kick. Advantage paid. McKercher. Half forward. The ball's a slip through the hands of Dersma. Regained by Jones. Hand pass to McCallum. McCallum to Lee. Ball is turned over in the end. Dersma. It's an empty square. Does he get the bounce? He does. It's a goal for Australia. Normally a goal for Dersma is good news for Port Adelaide, but not here today at Mount Barker because younger brother Zane has just kicked one for Australia to reduce the margin down back to 13 points. Second goal of the quarter for the academy team. And a nice finish by Zane Dersma. Goal that came off the back of consistent pressure, resulting in the turnover. It was a beautiful finish from beyond the arc for Zane Dersma. There's a whistle. Non-controlling umpire saw something. I think it was a hold. And a free kick will go Australia's way. Colby McKercher again. Another one of the Tasmanians in the lineup here for Australia. Goes inside 50. Might have spoiled his own teammate there, Jones. Ball trickling on ground level. Watson tried to come crashing through. We'll see another ball up here. Just getting boot to ball was more. Kick didn't go that far though. Wiedemann was there for Port. Callanan got his hand pass to Wilson on the back foot though. Goes back to Callanan. And that kick was nowhere near the goal. So, Lockie Jones took a long time to make his decision. Long down the line. Always the safest. That's a decent grab by Mitch Georgiades. He's been good today. Just the one goal to his name, though. But in the air, he has been ultra impressive. McCallum. Back to Jones. Now Jackson. Inside 50. We know Georgiades isn't down there at the moment. Ball's regained by Hardiman. Bouncing ball, eventually run onto by Darcy Wilson. Watson. Chipping ball, took some late contact. That'll be a downfield free kick for Australia. Wanting to get on with it is Nate Caddy. Ball will land in the pocket, but it's going to be brought down by Cleary nicely. His experience has been key for Port Adelaide this afternoon. Jackson. Running onto this will be Evans. Kicked a goal earlier in the quarter. Francis Evans. Pressure coming from Turner. Holds onto it. Waited for something to present. High ball to the pocket. Harley Reid couldn't take it. Dangerous situation here for Australia. Watson. Diving handball. Did he take some contact afterward? I think he did. So it's going to be downfield and a 50-metre penalty. Darcy Wilson will bring the ball to centre wing. 25-minute flat quarters, which means we're not that far away from the three-quarter time siren. Wanted to get on with it, Darcy Wilson, but gets told to take his free kick from back behind the mark. Staying in it, Australia. It is Nick Watson's free kick after all. Had it, got it to Reed. Back with Darcy Wilson. Some tempo footy here from Australia, coached by Tarkin Lockyer. Wilson getting around them out on the mark and sends it towards half forward. That is a very good grab by Mitch Edwards. Edwards into the hot spot, and Caddy couldn't take the mark. Kicked the first goal for Australia today. Ball's in the hands of Teakle, got his hair pass out, trickling along the ground. Another chance here for Edwards. So the ball pinballs along the ground. Barkler eventually emerged with it. Kick to the middle of the ground. Hayes had some space. Maybe deliberately tried to get it to Ollie Lord off the side of the boot. Australia had numbers there. Watson. And now Wilson. Harley Reid again. Took on one tackler. Had to get rid of it because the second was barrowing down on him. Free kick advantage paid. Dersma inside 50. And the Australians get another look at goal here. Tholstrup doesn't want to shoot. Perhaps he should have, because we've now got a turnover. Jones. Last line of defence for Teakle. No mark taken here. The artificial light slowly starting to take over here at Mount Barker. We are inside 50 here at the moment for Australia. Picking it up was McCauliffe. Got his hand pass out. Little dinky kick in toward the hotspot. Tholstrup picks it up and shoots. But Lockie Jones, who's been quite busy in the last couple of minutes, picking it off for Port. McCallum. Short ball. Jackson Lee. Pretty close to the three-quarter time siren. We've probably seen all the scoring we're going to see here in the third quarter. 13-point ball game for Port. Led by 12 at quarter time and 6 at the main break. Well read by Callanan. My apologies, in fact, it was McAuliffe. And I think he's kicked a goal on the left foot snap. He has. Kane McAuliffe. Local product, North Adelaide and Central Augusta. And he will have enjoyed that. Read it beautifully. Left foot snap towards goal. And it brings it back to single figures again. 7-point ball game. Okay, McAuliffe will be in the middle here for the next ball up as well. Apologies for initially getting that name wrong. That was a good finish. And we won't see any more play in the third quarter here. That was a really important goal for Australia. All single goal kickers, 6-5-41 to 7-6-48. Port Adelaide holding on to a 7-point lead. The goal kickers for Australia, Jack Callanan, Harley Reid, Nate Caddy, Zane Dersma, Kane McAuliffe, and Jed Walter for Port Adelaide. 4 goals for Ollie Lord, singles to Mitch Georgiades, Francis Evans, and Nathan Barkler. We'll take our final break here on afl.com.au from Mount Barker. Good finish coming up. It's been an arm wrestle for so much of the day. And if the rain stays away, we're looking forward to a grandstand finish between Australia and Port Adelaide. Stay with us. Final term coming up shortly. The rain has arrived here at Mount Barker, and suddenly this game has a very, very different complexion. And it's Port Adelaide by 7 points. As Australia look to go inside 50, but the relieving mark is taken by Jackson Lee. We've been talking about the fact that for so long today the rain had held off, but it's here in earnest now. Port have been leading it from the start, but have not been able to put Australia away yet. And the rain now adds a completely different dynamic to this game. We've got a ball up. That'll be a good thing for a lot of these players out here. They can showcase their skills in all sorts of conditions, all on the one day. It's been dry for so long, and now we can see how a lot of these guys go in the wet. It's an Australian ball here on the outer side. It's been a big day of footy here at Mount Barker. Brisbane far too good for North Melbourne earlier here today. One of the premiership favourites. The reunion of Alistair Clarkson and Chris Fagan as well. Very warm embrace for those two before today's game started. Turner over the top of it here for Australia. Ball ended up with Sanders. And over the top of it was Cheeseman. It's going to be a hard ball. It's going to be a hard, tough slog here in the final term, and it is a close one. Frank, who's been very good today. Ball ends up with Cheeseman. And one thing Port Adelaide has struggled with all day long is accuracy in front of goal. Even though it doesn't read too badly, 7-7-49. There's been quite a few misses on the full as well. Filatidis running out of the square. Hayes goes up, takes a nice mark in front of Will Green. He's had a number of opponents through ruck today. Ethan Reid, Mitch Edwards all getting a run in the ruck for Australia against Sam Hayes. Going inside 50 again, Port Adelaide. McKercher was working hard for Australia. Jackson Lee reached in, grabbed the ball under pressure. Round the corner kick from Hayes, and it finds a teammate, Tom Scully. Good mark in these conditions, has not scored a goal today, has Scully. Only has one to his name at SANFL level this year. He's kicked 1 goal, 3 so far. And he can give Port Adelaide a 14-point lead. So, all eyes on Tom Scully here at Mount Barker. In the rain in the Adelaide Hills, another behind for Port. They do get to raise the bat for the half ton at least. Australia has not led today, but they're not far away. 4 goals, the biggest margin we've seen here. This afternoon does become evening at Mount Barker. Ball kept in, played by Wilson, but a lot of congestion behind him. Moore has been popping up here and there throughout the day. Hayes again, imposing himself on this game all day long. Sam Hayes. It was a high one inside 50, a tough one to mark. It goes out for a boundary throw-in. I wonder how many of those we'll see in the final term. But Adelaide taking on Sturt next week in the SANFL when that gets back underway. That'll be round 3 of the new SANFL season. They've gone down to Glenelg and Adelaide in their first 2 outings at state league level. We have the Magpies, ball to be thrown up. Speaking of Magpies, the 2 coaches, very familiar names for any Collingwood fans that are watching. Tarkin Lockyer in charge of the AFL Academy coaching Australia here today. Tyson Goldsack in charge of Port Adelaide. Ball's trickling toward the line here. Hayes again involved. He's been working hard all day long as Lee sends one into the right spot. Inside 50, a chest mark taken here. And I'm not sure this is scoring range for Jed Hagan. Some effort from here in the wet. One of the wind out there has died down a little bit as well. It's been blustery here today. I don't think it's as strong as it has been at other stages. Hagan's kick toward the square. Stevens tried to get his hand pass toward the Leon. Not out of danger yet here, Australia. Cheeseman was brought down in the pockets. It's gone out on the full, I believe. It should be an Australian ball next to the behind post. It'll be claimed by Will Patton. Nope. He's going to allow Archie Roberts to take the free kick. Another Sandringham Dragon. Such a successful program in the Victorian Metro ranks of the Coates Talent League. So many recent draftees have come out of the Sandy Dragons. Most notably, most recently, Will Ashcroft. Even got some games for the Sandringham Zebras in the VFL late in the year. Or against the Zebras, I should say. He was playing against Brisbane, for Brisbane against the Zebras as we go inside 50. Oh, it's Sullivan. It's going to be a boundary throw in, yeah. So a couple of games last year at senior state league level for Will Ashcroft for the Brisbane Lions before they formally did pick him up in the draft. He's been a star, of course, since making his debut. Boundary throw in. Hayes. Got it down towards Pisani. Seen out by Jake Rogers. Well, Australia have been able to keep in touch with Port Adelaide today, with more than a dozen AFL listed players in this Magpies lineup. They haven't been within a goal for quite some time. Kick was smothered off the boot of Ashton Moore. Rogers applies some pressure on Burgoyne. And insufficient intent seems to be the call here. So now we get a look at Jake Rogers. Out of Broadbeach and a member of the Gold Coast Suns Academy. Left foot around a corner from this sort of range in the second quarter. Harley Reid, it was dry, of course, but he did kick a great goal from around this area. And his teammate follows suit here. Jake Rogers gets the goal to bring this one within a kick. And it's the first goal of the final term here at Mount Barker. Back out of the middle here. Port Adelaide will get the clearance, the long-ranging handball from Jackson. And they get the quick reply attempt toward goal, but it will miss to the right. So the ball coming towards half back here. Hayes just slipped over as he tried to get a kick away. Burgoyne. Ferrari back into attack, and Georgiades has taken a lot of marks today, but he's also done a lot of that throughout the day. He has missed another one, has Mitch Georgiades. Has got one goal, but has missed many other opportunities throughout the afternoon. And into the early evening here in the Adelaide Hills. Australia want to utilise the outer side. O'Sullivan gave off the handball. Trying to reel it in, but couldn't do so. Lawrence. The turnover, Franku. Hand pass intercepted by Simpson, but he got it back. Franku. High one towards half forward. A couple of bites of the cherry for Scully. Does eventually get paid the mark, and he wants to run off with it. Scully. Chipping ball. A bit more than a chip, actually. He went longer still in the pocket. And yet another chance at goal for Mitch Georgiades. On my little call sheet here, I've not marked the behinds for anyone today. But he's missed a handful of shots at goal. Has Mitch Georgiades. Can he get his second major here? And extend this lead back out. It's at 5 points at the moment. And you can go ahead and make that 11. He finally gets his second goal. Mitch Georgiades. Port Adelaide get that reply. And the margin's out to 11. Nearly halfway through this final term. 25-minute flat quarters. The rain staying away again for the time being. Trickling ball half forward here for Adelaide, but look at the power in the running through. Watson ends up with Sanders. Kick to the wing was good. Callanan towards half forward. Walter kicked a nice soccer goal in the second quarter. Gets onto the right boot. There's the Young Sons Academy product. It's going to fall out the back here. Franku has to make sure he's tackling. He's precise. It was, and it made sure that Australia weren't going to emerge there. It was Caddy that had it. Kicked their first goal today. So we're at the top of the goal square. Ball's kicked back out toward the top of 50. That's a goal. And it's a nice finish. Australia get another one. Nick Watson. The Wizard, he's been good as well today. Out of the Eastern Rangers. It's goal for goal here in the final term. It's back to 5 points. Eight goals from 8 different goal kickers for Australia. Ball thrown up, back in the middle. Next goal vital here at Mount Barker. Lawrence was working hard at ground level. Tackle laid by Cleary. Maybe didn't have it, Lee. Ethan Reid got his hand pass out. Ball was fisted forward there by Vicentini. Back toward the middle. Burgoyne trying to pick it up off a pretty soggy deck, and he got brought down in the tackle by Caddy. That resulted in a turnover. Australian ball here. Sanders quickly just dumped it inside 50. Maybe misread by Moore in the air. Another right foot snap towards goal. Can they get another one here, Australia? No. That would have put him in front. 58 plays 54. A familiar, rather pleasant score line if you're a Sydney Swans supporter. 4 point ball game. Watson again, crashing through, had the hand pass get out available in Lawrence. He goes toward the square, And it bounces through for another behind. 3 points the margin. We're going down to the wire here. That Mount Barker. Cleary to kick in for Port Adelaide. Runs out of the square. Through some hands. Out the back, waiting for it was Hagan. Has had his moments throughout the day. Tumbling punt towards half forward here for Port Adelaide. It bounced away from Scully. It was Francis Evans that had the ball, but a free kick going Australia's way. There's half a goal in it here. Ball fisted by Jones, back inside 50. Watson regaining for Australia. The hand pass came to O'Sullivan. Nice ball, nice vision to find Sanders. Had a good second half today, has Riley Sanders. Right now, we're looking at Archer Reid. No relation to either Ethan or Harley out there today. We go inside 50. Franku got a fist on the ball. Burgoyne, underground handball. That was somewhat dangerous inside defensive 50. The turnover does come. Walter, high ball, well across the face. How does it bounce here? It bounced well enough for Darcy Wilson. One way to the other. Goes in board. There was definitely no 15 there. Brought down immediately Lawrence. Good pressure. Port Adelaide, they emerge with it once more. And the ball right now is in the hands of Jed Hagan. Centre wing. Nice grab by Ollie Lord. 4 goals early in the game today. Hasn't been cited all that much since. As the ball goes towards half forward, slip through the hands of Scully. Ball forced back out of D50 by Will Patton. Hayes again has been very good today. Look at the space here available for Barkler. Kicks one in the third and has one in the last. A much needed goal for Port Adelaide. Nathan Barkler has 2. And it's a 9-point ball game once more. Every time Australia asks the question, Port Adelaide has an answer. And pretty soon, in tough conditions, time will not be a friend for this young Australian team. They've been very good, though, against a pretty strong Port Adelaide lineup. Back in the middle. Nice tap down. Wiedemann gets the clearance. Half forward ball here. Watson missed it. Patton out the back. The kick towards the wing. And it gets tapped on toward half forward. Burgoyne just to apply some pressure on Rogers. Perhaps did enough. But that kick's going to be on the full. Claiming the free kick, Jack DeLeon. South Australian product. Touched, I reckon, by Montgomery there as it lands near 50. Cleary for Burgoyne. Good tackle, Rogers. A lot of bodies over the top of this ball. Umpire lets it go. Cleary does actually extract it, but the teammate only went as far as Will Ferrari. High ball. Georgiades has marked everything except that this evening. Gets it again, Georgiades. Barkler turns it over. Ball one back here. Darcy Wilson's been good today. High one. Just in scoring range. It went over the head of Caddy. Tracking it is Turner. But he misses to the near side. Does Port Adelaide now start playing a little bit of clock? 8-8, playing 9-10. They'll have Sturt in the SANFL next week, this Port Adelaide side. Evans around the corner kick. Stayed low. Cabor working hard for Australia. Jackson tried to get the hand pass out. No easy ball here. Crashing through Jones. His big body perhaps the difference in the end, but it ends up back in Australian hands. Green High ball towards half forward. Nice kick. Tholstrup. Subiaco boy. Colson Tholstrup. Only one arm there to work with for Caddy. You can probably hear through our effects mics here that Montgomery's teammates were wanting to see that ball out of play. So I think we are seeing Port Adelaide now manage some clock. They lead it by 8 points. A holding infringement going Australia's way. It'll be Will Green to send it inside 50. Green, there's a lead on offer. In the hole, it slipped through the hands of Lee. Now a chance for Clear. He had to get the hand pass out though. Good pressure, Port Adelaide out of danger. Only momentarily though. Daniel Curtin goes wide. Cleary repelling it. Sanders got his hand pass out. Again, we go in toward the forward pocket for Australia. It's tapped away from Nate Caddy. Siren will go at the 25-minute mark here at Mount Barker. Big double header in the Adelaide Hills. We have the close one here because it wasn't much of a contest in the end, unfortunately, for the North Melbourne Football Club against the Brisbane Lions. Chance here for Australia. I think that was Tholstrup who managed to emerge, but he can't kick the goal. They're creeping closer, but only in ones at the moment, Australia. That kick in won't be allowed. This just keeps wiping some time off the clock. This is Cleary. For Jones. Happy just to share it around in their back half here. The power, or Magpies, whichever way you want to go. Probably Magpies here for this SANFL team. The power will be in action against the Western Bulldogs at the Adelaide Oval. They've gone coast to coast. And Francis Evans, who kicked one in the third, can put some icing on the cake here for Port. Only a couple of minutes left now. This to put it beyond reach for this young AFL Academy team. Evans kicks the goal. Port Adelaide on their way to victory here now at Mount Barker. It's his second. It's Port's 10th. This will be a little confidence booster for this team that has gone down in their first two SANFL outings for this year. They'll take on Sturt next week. After losing to Adelaide and Glenelg in their first fortnight of the season. And this is a side that is chock full of AFL listed players, and they are going to emerge victorious here. Not long to go now. Cheeseman did well to pick it up. Burgoyne's been good today. Jake Wiedemann picked up well. Barkler kicked a good goal earlier in this last quarter, did Barkler. Spills out of play. Some tired legs out there now. It was dry for the first 3 quarters. The rain started coming down very heavily during the 3-quarter time break. Didn't last too long, but it's going to be a heavy deck out there now. It's been a good war of attrition, this one. It's been an arm wrestle for so long, but Port will emerge just with that little bit more experience and a little bit more class throughout the day, and they do take victory by 13 points in the end. 10-10-70. Playing 8-9-57. And we saw plenty of great talent on display from both sides here today. For the winners, Port Adelaide, 4 goals for Ollie Lord, 3 in the first quarter, and that 4th one early in the second. Then 2 each for Mitch Georgiades, Francis Evans, and Nathan Barkler. All 8 goal kickers, all 8 goals for Australia from 8 individual goal kickers. Nick Watson, Jack Callanan, Harley Reid, who was outstanding throughout the first 3 quarters, Jake Rogers, Nate Caddy, Zane Dersma, Kane McAuliffe, and Jed Walter. And plenty of good footy played by a number of these players. Nick Watson had a really good game. Caden Cleary was really good in and under and through the stoppages. Harley Reid just kept bobbing up and had so much of the ball throughout the early parts of the game. I think he was taken out of the final quarter. His day was done, but it was a very good one. Liked Darcy Wilson's game as a distributor as well. Nate Caddy showed a bit, took a really good mark to kick the first goal of the game. Will Patton across half-back, impressive as well. Colton Falstrup had his moments, and Jed Walter kicked a nice goal and had a couple of other chances as well. Hope you enjoyed it on afl.com.au. The final score here, Port Adelaide 10-10-70, Australia 8-9-57. My name's Adam Sarikoglu, I should get my own name right. Hope you enjoyed it, and we wish you well for the rest of this Saturday evening.